Hey everyone, top lane can be really frustrating as there are many counter picks up there and can feel like you just lose the lane in champion select if you do get hard countered. But any matchup is winnable with strong fundamentals, so that's what we're going to show you today. To do this, we're going to break down a game from my Smurf in Platinum where I'm playing Maokai vs Illaoi. I specifically chose Maokai into Illaoi because it's Maokai's most difficult matchup and players tend to really struggle going against Illaoi in general. But even if you don't play these two champions, the concepts you learn here will apply to anyone. First, let's break down the matchup. Maokai is an AP tank versus Illaoi an AD juggernaut. Maokai doesn't have many advantages in lane, except he has a ton of guaranteed sustain, whereas Illaoi only gets sustain when she lands her abilities. Also, Maokai's main trading tool, his Q, has a lower cooldown than Illaoi's main trading ability, her E. Illaoi outpushes Maokai, does more burst, and more sustained damage. For these reasons, this is obviously a very difficult matchup. My game plan for this will be, Mission 1, push if possible. Even though Illaoi has more wave clear, if Illaoi doesn't focus on wave control, I can get the push advantage. Mission 2, avoid Illaoi's E. Illaoi's E is her main trading tool. It gets blocked by minions, so I need to make sure to stand behind them to avoid it. And then Mission 3, don't die to Ganks. Since I'm going to be pushing, I have to make sure to reset and ward at the right times to keep myself safe. Before we get into it, throughout the video, try to look for the main reason why Illaoi doesn't win this lane, as we're going to go over it in the end and give her a game plan. Alright, now let's get into the gameplay. At the start of the lane, I'm constantly auto-attacking minions to start mission 1, while also making sure to keep my movement random and unpredictable since I'm waiting for her to use Q, which is what most Illaoi players start with. When she walks up to the minions, I hit her with Q, and she eventually uses W on me, which isn't what I expected. But since she has no tentacles here to make use of her W, I can use this to my advantage. If you don't know, Illaoi's W makes her tentacle slam, but since there's no tentacles around, nothing is going to slam, and it's just going to do some damage. But anyway, first I walk up and use my grasp and passive auto on her when she walks up for her last hit. This is just abusing my sustain advantage and the fact that she didn't have her W up. Playing around cooldowns is a very basic fundamental to top lane. After that, I walk back into my wave to get this minion, so she jumps in with W again. This is fine because like I said before, there are no tentacles here and she's going to take damage from my minion wave anyways. I go back to auto attacking minions for mission 1, and when she walks up, I use my Q to hit all 3 minions and her to trade and push at the same time, then auto attack her to proc my grasp. Illaoi made a big mistake here, walking up to me with her W being down. Again, playing around cooldowns. After I use my Q, notice I run back into my wave, knowing her W is going to come back up now. She jumps in again to use it, and I make a small mistake. When she used W, I should have buffered an auto attack on her to trade back, then use the brush to cancel minion aggro. When I say buffer, I mean just clicking her as she's jumping in, so my character auto attacks right away. I didn't expect her to be in range there, but this is just another fundamental to top lane. In these melee vs melee matchups, you should pretty much always be trading back auto attacks unless you're in their wave. In this case, she's jumping into my wave, so it's an even bigger reason to trade back. I walk up and use Q on her again after that to push and trade, and she trades back with W, proccing her Conqueror. When going against any champion with Conqueror and you're not using it, this is when you have to back off and let the stacks fall. When they have Conqueror proc, they do much more damage and heal off of their damage. So I'm going to back away now to let Conqueror fall off. Once it's off, I use Q on the minion wave to grab some CS and look for some poke, but it doesn't connect to the Illaoi. But I'm going to go back to auto attack in the wave to keep pushing for mission 1, and during this time, we both hit level 2. Now, I don't know which ability she's going to grab at level 2, but I do have the push advantage. Most Illaois would grab Q right now, but since she has 2 tentacles right next to her, she could get E instead. To prepare for both situations, look how I'm positioning around my minions. I'm basically hugging them and ready to use them as a shield to block her E for mission 2. She does end up grabbing E, and I dodged it running into my wave. After I dodge it, I'm going to collect my last hits, then watch how I play here. I'm going to be pretty aggressive because I know her main ability, her E, is down. So I want to take that time to kill this tentacle and drop a ward for mission 3. The enemy jungler is Rengar, so I don't want to stand next to this brush blind where he can jump on me. Now as I go back to laning, I'm back inside my minion wave for mission 2 to avoid Illaoi's E and continuing to push. Somehow Illaoi's E connects with me here even though I'm completely covered by these 2 minions, but it's okay, in season 20 stuff like this won't happen. Even though I get cursed and the tentacles are going to swing at me now, I have a level lead here, so the fundamentals of top lane still apply. I want to abuse my level lead, so I jump in with W and Q, then walk back into my wave. This is the really important part. I use my abilities to make use of my level advantage, but once my abilities are down, I don't have any damage left. So by kiting into my wave like this, if Illaoi tries to fight me, all my minions will hit her. She does end up walking into my wave, so I hit her with one more auto attack to trade back, but notice how I don't go in and try to kill her even though she's so little health. You don't want to get baited into this when going against champions with healing like Renekton, Illaoi, or Darius. I have no abilities to actually finish her, so if she uses W and one of the tentacles hits me, it's going to heal her for 5% of her missing health. It's best to just play patient here. So I'm going to go back into my minion wave and continue pushing, and this time her E doesn't go through this wall of minions and protects me. Now that her E is down, I can look to trade again. I try to hit her with Q, but she's playing pretty far back. I'm not going to force a trade on her when she's that far back, so I work on collecting last hits. She jumps on me instead with her W, which is very risky when her main ability is down. Sadly, I play as if I have 500 ping and get hit by the tentacle and Q, which gives her some health and brings me low. Right after that, her E comes back up, but because I walk behind my minions, she misses. This is extremely important right now because if that E connected, I would either die or have to recall. As soon as she misses, I walk up knowing she's going to jump in. With her E down and my level lead, I know I have more damage here. I W in right away and walk out of the tentacle damage from her W, then use an auto attack and Q before flashing away from the two tentacles about to slam down, getting the kill. That was close because of the bad trade I took earlier, but the lane isn't over. She still counters my champion really hard, so let's keep going. I'm going to recall after this and TP back to lane. I want to follow the same game plan as before, so I use Q as soon as I get back to lane on the wave. I know Illaoi is going to jump in with W since my Q is down, so I use W as she does to cancel it. Since I have no minions in front of me, I walk into my wave again, prepared to dodge the E. This does make me get hit by her Q, but eating her Q is much better than eating her E, as that's her main ability like we've talked about many times. Also, this applies to any champion in top lane. Everyone has a main ability that you need to keep track of. The most obvious ones are Jax E, Fiora W, Maokai W, or Kennen E. These abilities have longer cooldowns, and without them, the champion can be punished pretty hard. But after that, I'm still playing in my wave, then go over to kill this tentacle. I get hit by E here only because this is lower elo, and Illaoi wasn't thinking how a high elo player would. So what I was doing here was, I was walking towards my minion wave to use it to block for me. This would normally make her try to aim it right on the edge of my ranged minions, but she just threw it at the tentacle not thinking about that. This sounds like an excuse, but I'll be the first one to tell you when I'm trolling. In lower elo, it's sometimes a lot harder to hit or dodge skill shots just because their movement or where they throw their skill shot can be so random. No cap. But even though I got hit by the E, since she only has one tentacle next to her and she got hit by my sapling, I don't need to run away. She can't kill the spirit with only one tentacle, so I can just walk back into the wave while waiting for the spirit to die. I don't want to fight her when the spirit is up. By not running out of range, I won't get cursed. As soon as the spirit is about to die, as we can see from the tower below it, I jump into trade since her E is down. Now look at the difference in minion wave here. Because I've been working on mission 1, I have 4 minions, and one of them is a cannon where she just has 1. So if we fight here, my wave will help me out a lot. We trade and she gets very aggressive because her jungler is here, as we can see from the ward I placed. In lower elo, I see way too often you guys letting the enemy team troll and get away with it. You need to be able to spot these situations. This is one of them. Illaoi doesn't have E or any tentacles around and is 30% health. I'm at 70% with a level lead and minion wave behind me. Rengar is level 4 with 60%. There should be no way they have a chance at killing me. Because of this, I'm just going to bait this Rengar in. Now, it doesn't mean I want to run at the brush head first in 2v1, I just want to walk into my minion wave and let them come to me. I focus on Illaoi first since she's really low, which makes her flash away. Notice I don't flash for her after that though. I'm still staying in my minion wave, letting them fight for me and defending myself. Rengar actually did a lot of burst here, so I kite back a little bit more, and because all my abilities are on cooldown now, he keeps chasing as I kite back and trade auto attacks, and as soon as my Q and W come up, I finish off Rengar with W, then Q the Illaoi and punch her to finish her as well. This was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. Rengar just did a lot more damage than expected. Either way, you can see how kiting and using my wave to defend me, I could 2v1 them, putting me at 3-0 and closing the lane out. Alright, before we wrap up the video though, remember we told you to keep in mind what you think Illaoi did wrong in this matchup. The main reason she lost was because she wasn't pushing the lane. Remember, she has the wave clear advantage here, so her game plan would look like this. Mission 1, push the wave. Mission 2, look for E while Maokai farms under tower. And Mission 3, don't die to ganks. If she did this, I wouldn't be able to use my minion wave to block her E so many times, and it would be a lot harder for me to dodge it while I'm farming under tower. But since she just focused so hard on trading, I got the wave control when I shouldn't have, which won me the lane. Alright guys, so as you can see, even the hardest matchups can be won with fundamental game knowledge. But that's going to be it for this one. We hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.